Ari.
Hello, Miss Sheila.
Okay, so this is our part, the portion of our docu-series. We're more than just T-shirts and badges, where we kind of get to know you up close and personal. Okay, so get ready for the story, y'all. Ari's gonna give us a good
The
one.
rundown.
She's gonna give us a good one.
Giving the
So,
rundown.
just quickly, I know we were talking earlier. The whole group was here, but I kind of want to know a little bit more about you. And one of the things I noticed that was interesting to me is your tattoo. One of your tattoos says, "It's only temporary."
Yep.
You want to tell me where your journey was to coming to getting that tattoo, why you decided, what it was like? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, first off, I love that question. You're the first person to actually ask me about that. So
Shouts out
thank
to
you,
me.
Miss Sheila. But yeah, it's only temporary. Pretty much the story behind that is I was mentioning prior, I was a foster youth actually. And during that time, it was very challenging, very, very difficult. I struggled with a lot of things at a young age, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and just a lot of overall trauma. And just during that time period, the one thing that really kept me going was my dad saying, "Hey, it's only temporary. Really, like, hey, just one day at a time. It's only temporary. This case is only temporary. You're only going to be temporary foster kid. You're going to come home. So it's only temporary." So pretty much, yeah, that's like stuck with me for pretty much my whole life to the point I wanted to get it inked on me. So yeah, it's just a daily reminder anytime like I get too, say for example at work, get too impatient. I just look down, it's only temporary. I get kind of just stuck in my head, kind of just, it's a hard day. Just look down and it's only temporary. So yeah, it's just a daily reminder that literally anything is temporary. Emotions, your day, people in your life, just life in general. And it's just a reminder to kind of be thankful for your present moment, pretty much.
Yeah, I think there was a series on YouTube. It gets better, and I'm probably y'all don't yell at me because I probably got it wrong. But I used to love it because they'd sit there and they'd talk about coming out and or being unsure about when to come out and the bullying, the whole thing, and the whole thing was it gets better. And when I saw that tattoo, it said to me, that message that is only temporary is really, really important because we're growing up. Even me, as old as I am, I'm still growing. And a lot of times people make you feel like things are permanent. But I will ask you, in Ari's life, what is permanent?
The one thing that's permanent in my life, one thing that's been consistent throughout my entire life that I haven't at once had to doubt is myself. Because I mean, with life, people are gonna come and go. Naturally, that's just nothing lasts. Everything grows and then everything dies. Whether that's a relationship, literally, just like anything. But the one thing that has stayed consistent and kind of held myself down has been myself. So I think, yeah, very, very important to have a good relationship with yourself. Very important to kind of just know and be your biggest advocate. So yeah, shout out to myself for holding me down.
Darn right. Shout out to
Yeah,
you.
shout out to myself.
So, and now what you bring to the table here, is many, many things. But just if we're being really simplistic, art. Art is it seems like the love of your life.
Yeah.
Tell me, with art, how did that come to be? Did you just always like drawing, or do you sculpt? Tell me what do you do with art? What is your forte?
Luckily, I've kind of grown up around art my entire life. Honestly, like my grandma, she was very artistic, super good at drawing, super just like creative. I remember her making me stuff all the time. And then pretty much my dad was very creative as well. And just being artistic and creative was very prominent on my dad's side. So pretty much I just grew up in a very artistic and creative household where it was praised to be like to express your mind artistically. So to grow up in an environment like that, like that's what definitely sculpted my artistic drive. And from there, being exposed to drawing and painting and poetry even at like a young age, it kind of just opened my mind and was like, man, I'd want to do this for the rest of my life. And just like growing up though, like I remember just people being like, oh, that's so unrealistic. Like, what are you gonna do with the art degree? What are you gonna do with this? Oh, art, you're gonna die of hunger being an artist, pretty much. Just constantly that in my ear. But just, yeah, my family was always very supportive of it because I grew up in a very artistic, creative household. So, yeah, I just was always drawing when I was little. It was either painting or like writing expressively through poetry or anything like that, to the point it kind of just became a creative outlet. It was like my therapy in a way, especially growing up as a foster youth. That was like my only outlet. I was like the only person I could talk to was my pen and paper. So pretty much from there, it just was like a daily occurrence where I'd just be drawing or coloring or something. And then now I'm growing up, becoming an adult. I'm about to be 21 in April. So, I mean, like, yeah, I'm taking that further step in expanding myself as an individual. And pretty much I want to be an artistic, creative individual. So now I have the opportunity to go to school for it. So, yeah, pretty much just growing up in an artistic household is what started that spark, really.
So I appreciate that. That's wonderful. When you're thinking about art, and you know a lot of the programs have been cut. You know, a lot of the art programs have been cut. You know, music is being cut, and you know, art classes are being cut. When you think about that, you as a young person, when there's younger people who look at you like you're old, right? Because we got a bunch, you know, we got fourth and fifth graders that look at you like, oh my God, she needs a cane. She's so old. Um, and you think about them growing up in a world, a system that art has taken a back seat. What do you do to contribute to making sure that art stays alive? What's your daily routine to make sure that the children of Betty Reid or kids that you know you would help out if you're here at Martinez? What exactly do you do to really make sure that they know how important art is? Do you talk to them? Do you give them special projects? What do you do?
I definitely kind of get an idea of what it's like in their mind. I kind of like talk to them and kind of get their idea of what even is art, because I feel like art is just a very broad term that a lot of people tend to forget that pretty much anything can be art. Like like one thing, for example, shout out to Jose. He's really into video games at Betty Reid, and I just started talking to him about like the more artistic aspect of it, and pretty much it kind of just clicked with him. He was just like, "Wow, I didn't even realize that like video games was like an art form." So being able to go into an environment like Betty Reid and pretty much like just open their mind is my goal. Is to pretty much go in there and have them do things and be like, "Hey, that was art. Surprise! Like you didn't realize it, huh?"
Yeah.
Like so like yeah, it's just like my goal is to have them open up their definition of what art is, expand on what exactly does it mean to be an artist. Because I remember just growing up and being like, oh, you have to be good at drawing or you're a bad artist. Don't consider yourself an artist. But no, in reality, like every single person is an artist. So that's my goal when I go there every day, is to just like, hey, you're creative. Don't forget your creative abilities. Let's chime in and like focus on that one creative thing you're good at and expand on it as an artist. So pretty much just opening, expanding their idea and definition of what art is.
So as an artist, and this is something I always struggled with, and I want you to help me out. And I'm sure, as a parent, I always struggled with children being graded on their art. I have a daughter who, I mean, in her art class, I mean, they actually, you know, in her choir, and I mean, she's actually graded. And I always thought, why would you grade that? I mean, I get that you're making it important and saying this is an actual subject and it should be taken seriously. And I absolutely agree with that. But what are your thoughts on children being graded for something like that? Do you think it's, they should be graded, or it should just be an expressive thing that you choose to do what you want to do with it? What's your, as an artiste,
As
what
an
is
artiste,
your opinion? I'm just
um,
curious.
actually, that's like a great point that I try to talk about all the time because I remember being in high school and I was in AP photography, and that was like super, super difficult, super just
One
like,
of our staff members is
yeah,
laughing in the back.
yeah, she knows, she knows.
Because she
Yeah, she
understands.
knows exactly. AP photo, like, that kind of definitely shifted my whole idea on, man, should this like even be graded? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's too personal to even, like, who are you to say like, oh, that picture's great, here's a 5 out of 5. Oh, that picture's bad, here's a 0 out of 5. Like, it kind of just left me like, who are you to say that? Like, are you serious right now? You don't know the effort, time, the whole idea and experience I put into this. So, like, don't get me wrong, I love art classes, but there's that thin line between sense of expression and turning it into like a skill that could be taught in school. And then there's that other side of the line where it kind of, in my opinion, gets taken a little too far, where they kind of try to take like a corporate approach to art, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, they try to
Yes.
make a profit off of it rather than really trying to fully understand the value it has to you as like an individual. So, like, love art teachers. Shout out to all my art teachers that formed me.
Again,
Hey,
we are
great.
not.
Love you guys. Love you guys so much. Shout out to Miss Fairfield, my photo teacher in high school.
There you go.
Love that. But if like that's the one thing where it's just like the love-hate relationship with being like taught art in school is just like, it's those critiques, man. It has me like rethink everything. But I mean, yeah, it's hard to balance that line of like being an artistic person who expresses yourself and going to school for it, and then all of a sudden it's turned into like a pretty much corporate ideology that is used to profit. So I think that's definitely something that we're learning to deal with as a society. And like, as like an artist who is coming up in a society that's seeing artistic as a more like necessary thing, like, I hope we get to like go beyond the corporate aspect and get more in tune with the importance of the expressive aspect, how art in reality feeds the soul. So I mean, like, that's my goal really at Betty Reid too, is to let them know like, hey, like,
Feeds the soul.
feeds the
huh?
soul. You gotta
Well,
feed your
on that
soul.
note, we're going to say, Ari, thank you so much for coming today and being honest and genuine with us and feeding our soul.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, darling.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. Bye. Hi, Kai.
I feel it.
Okay, so Kylan is probably the most talkative person of all time here at Boys and Girls Club. So we're going to try to just bring down his energy level because clearly it's really, really very, very high. Right, Kylan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, now you see what I'm working with. So, Kylan, tell me, you've been here for a little bit. What would you say is your experience at Betty Reid? Like, what has it done for you in terms of dealing with the children and the program? How's it been for you? How you feeling about it?
Overall, it's given me, like, it's been a lesson more than anything on just, being considerate of everybody's situation because, every child is different. They all have different come ups, they all have different stories behind them. So it's best in my interest to make sure that I make sure I can understand all of them so we can move forward together. I don't want to leave a person behind, and it'd be better if I, were to break down their situation and see in what ways I could help them.
Yeah, I know that you are probably one of our youngest program specialists. And being as young as you are, what for you? What's a challenge dealing with younger people? And you're still young, because I know they probably look at you like you're kind of old. But do you have any challenges? I mean,
Um,
being so young yourself.
the biggest one would probably be trying to be an authority figure because I don't really see myself as one. I don't see myself as an adult still, even though I am. So it's kind of rough having to act like one with kids, especially because like knowing myself as a preteen, the things they do, I probably would have done too in my teen years. Not to only to a certain extent though, not to like but it's just hard trying to put on that persona of just like using authority or having to say things that I really don't want to say, but I have to.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a discipline to it.
Yeah.
And I've said before, it's not always so easy because we do have to conduct ourselves a certain way there and outside of our profession. We have to conduct ourselves a certain way. So when you think about this, I've heard and I've said a lot of younger people who do this kind of profession don't really want to have kids right away or have a family right away, children right away. What do you think about it? Having worked around kids, is there like, do you think to yourself, gosh, I can't wait to have kids? Or are you like, I can wait because kids are pretty tough?
I still want kids. I always wanted kids, but just not. My thing with it is as long as I'm set up, like I have a spot for them to live and grow. As long as I have enough money to support having a kid, then I'll have kids. But until then, I'm not gonna have kids because, you know, I'm not saying like my parents did a bad job, but they had me.
Oh my God.
They had me
Oh, Kylan.
at my age.
Okay.
So, you know, and they told me all the struggles. Oh, yeah, we had a struggle. I'm like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So I'm using what they have said to my advantage to know that I don't want, kids right now, but I will want some in the future.
Yeah. But eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because kids take a lot. They take a lot of energy. And being as young as you are, I think people look at you as a tendency to have more energy because you're younger. Do you ever feel any frustration like that? Like you were expected to do more because you are a younger program specialist, or has it always been kind of even killed? Do you ever feel like pressure, like you're supposed to get up and you're supposed to be the one to run around, and do you ever feel like that, or is it pretty
No.
just even?
It's pretty even. Like, I'm not really like when pressure comes, I don't want to like run from it, so I kind of just find a way to just go about it as like smooth as possible.
Yeah.
I always have like try to make like a plan for myself because I don't want to be like that person who folds under pressure and then like I like do something out of frustration. Like I don't like to do that, so I kind of like to like have a level head about most things.
Yeah. So so when you are dealing with kids, it is a whole different, it's a whole different world. Were you able to adapt to some of the disciplines that you have to do with children that you wouldn't do normally? Like, in other words, there are quite often that there are disagreements between a lot of the kids, and you have to step in as the voice of reason to squelch all of that. Do you ever think to yourself, this is a lot. This is a lot. Just let them go out there and fight it out. I don't want to deal with it. Do you ever feel like that sometimes, or is it just like, I can just adapt. I'm good.
I mean, working with kids before, I kind of already had like an understanding of what I needed to do. So like even if I do feel like that, it's usually just a passing thought, and I kind of just come back and get it solved without using, physical means. So I always kind of just look back until when I originally had a job, my first job watching kids. So it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Is there, when you are in like with your friend group, do you ever feel like, gosh, I shouldn't be doing this? I should probably be out there hanging out doing something else. Is this something, a profession that you say to yourself, yeah, I chose this and I'm happy with this and I want to continue doing this? Or do you think, well, I'll do this for a while and then I'll kind of like move on to something else? Because you're very talented, very talented. And the kids really do really love to be around you and look up to you. Do you see yourself doing this?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of at like a point in my life where I don't really know what my next move is career-wise, so I'm just trying to get that figured out at the moment. But until then I'll continue to work here until I get my career path finalized. But honestly, that's probably like the main mission there is to stay here until I understand what I want to do in life and then go from there.
I think that's fabulous. I really do. It's like you're so very level-headed at the age you are. I mean, I guess a lot of people would think, a lot of older people would think you wouldn't be so firm on understanding what your future is, but you seem to be really firm on, this is where I am right now, and I want to give myself, every avenue possible before I make a firm decision. It's very nice to hear. Very, very nice. I can understand why you're a mentor to those kids. So, being a mentor to them, what probably was the most challenging that you've had as a mentor to those children?
I guess that would be in the beginning because I really didn't know any of them. And, I had to take that approach of getting to know each of them individually before I can, move forward. So it took me like a few weeks, to break down and understand each and every child and understand, what they like and what they don't like, their tendencies, their traits, and things of that nature. So that would probably be the hardest thing, was just getting to know all of them. But now that I have like a great understanding of each and every one of them, it's made it a lot easier going forward, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have made your mark there. I mean, the kids, they really do respect and love to be around you. So tell me, you have a really great staff working with you, really great team. I know I've been there. I really respect and admire your team that you're working with. Tell me something that the best thing about working with Rogelio, your site director, what's the best thing about working with him?
I think it's the fact that he's always willing to extend a hand out to help. He's always there as, if you need anything, just let me know. Like, so I know if I'm having like a rough day that he'll be there to support me. So it's good to have that support system there if I ever do need it. And that makes me feel like a little bit, definitely helps me and makes me feel a lot more content with my work.
And Ari, what's the best part about working with her?
She's a lot like Riley, she's always there to help too. And on top of the fact that, she's our female staff, so if I can't handle a lot of like, the girls' problems that she can, and that helps a lot too. So everyone's just always there to help each other in times of need, and that really, softens. It's like a little safety net for everybody.
And collectively, as a team, you being there, what's the best part of that entire team?
I think it's the fact that we all have the same views on what we need to do. Like we all collectively can come together and figure things out without much disagreement or issue. We don't argue. We don't do any of that. It's a positive work environment for all of us. So when we get there, we know that if we have an issue, with the kids, that we could all come together and get it solved, like just like that. It's not really.
And lastly, what is it you bring to the team that you know is most valuable? What makes you the MVP?
Me the MVP. It's probably a few things. Probably like cool. I gotta get my list out, of course. But
Oh, yeah. And we only have so much time, so we don't, I know your list is long. I know very long. But tell me what is the best part. What do you bring to the table, sir?
If I had to just pick one thing, it'd probably just be my level-headedness. I don't really have a temper or anything like that. I always keep myself focused and always have a level head about things. So just that's probably the best thing.
Yeah. That and the fact that you are such a cool personality. You really are, Kylan. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Everybody, Kylan Patterson, program specialist. Woo woo, baby.
Program specialist,
Slash,
triple play director,
slash,
producer,
slash.
artist, lover, friend.
An overall very, very modest personality. Thank you so much, Kylan.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, Rogelio.
Hello.
Rogelio is our site director over at Betty Reid Soskin. You've been there how long now?
Let me see. I started in November. I think in December. That's when those 2 weeks before break. That's when I think I was by myself, or Jose was coming in and out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just so the audience knows, Rogelio, you came in. Jose Luis Marquez. He was the site director prior to you.
Yes.
So you had to come in
Yeah.
and learn all that stuff right
Yeah.
away, and keep the site going.
Yep.
So tell me, how's it been? How you feeling? How's it going out there?
I feel like it's going good. Honestly, the staff make it easy.
Yeah.
They work super hard. They're always on time. They run program really well.
Yeah. Well, they've got a good leader.
Oh.
Yeah. I have heard all wonderful things about your leadership out there. So tell me, being there for such a short period of time, did you go through anything like, wow, I'm feeling like I can't connect with the kids, or this is a little rough? I mean, because it seems like you got in there and it was like you had been there forever.
Yeah.
Did you have those moments where you felt like, ooh, I'm not getting this?
I feel like when change comes, it's not easy, especially coming from different organization, coming to this one. It's not easy, but it's about adjusting, and I feel like coming in there, being myself, not being somebody I'm not, just build the rapport with the kids, build rapport with the team. That's the most important thing when you first come into a company. And not faking it, just being who you are, like I said.
Yeah. Which is a good message for the kids.
Yep.
Just be who you are. I know in the time that I worked around you guys, I developed a real love for all those children. I really did. And that was just a short amount of time. I started to feel like, oh God, I really want these kids to do well. I really love these kids. Yeah. Tell me, for you, have you felt the same thing in terms of like now just like out there, like we got to help these kids. They got to make it.
Yeah, I feel like we see the kids in school, but we don't know what they go through at home.
Yeah.
And for us, we want to build a community for the kids, a healthy community for the kids where they can come and have fun and be themselves and not worry about what's going on at home.
Yeah. So, which is what, I had said in an earlier episode. I don't know how we're doing this in terms of continuity, but we talked about being more than just babysitters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you are actually laying a foundation for them. With dealing with the children, has there been a particular challenging part where you thought, gosh, these kids are really going through something, I need to be there? What's been challenging?
I think making an adjustment from elementary, from K to 6 to middle school, and just getting all the attitude.
Yeah.
It's something that I need to be patient with. But like I said, I'm here to be a positive role model for these kids, and I can see myself as a young kid having the same attitude.
Yeah.
We just gotta take it one day at a time and just be the consistent, caring adult for these kids.
Yeah. And that's one of the things when you first came to Boys and Girls Club, Contra Costa, that I most enjoyed about your personality, because I don't know if you're aware, but you always reference the team. You never take the credit for yourself. You're always referencing this a team effort, and we're, team players, and my team is great, and my staff is great. Is that part of just your personality, or you think over time, with experience, you grew to know how important your team is?
I think it was instilled in me with the last company I worked with. They instilled that in my head that it's a team effort. It's not all you.
Yeah.
And also, I had experience when I was younger. When I was younger, I used to work in youth ministry, and I was about 22 years old whenever my mentor handed out a ministry to me, and it was, I learned from there that it was always with me. It's my way or the highway, and that's not going to work when people are coming in and teaming up with you and trying to help you build a ministry. It's about a team, and I learned the hard way by just that experience. And I'm not a person that wants to relive that, so I had to change my attitude it's because it's a team effort with everything we do.
Yeah, yeah. So you, at this point in time, you're not a parent, correct?
No,
Are
I'm
you-
not a
you're
parent.
Not a parent. What are your goals with that? Do you think one day you see parenthood in your future? Or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think not right now though. Just
Well, that's okay.
yeah,
I'm not putting a timer on you.
yeah.
On the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying that. But that's
Oh,
a
yeah,
goal for you
sure.
as
Oh
well.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you'd make an awesome dad.
Well,
I
thank
really
you.
think you would. So, with your team that you're currently working with now, tell me what is the best part of working with Kylan?
I think he has a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
He has a good sense of humor, and he really relates to the kids, and the kids gravitate to him.
yeah,
And I feel like he's a good leader, and he does really good when it comes to sports and stuff, and he does a really great job.
yeah.
Gets the kids all engaged.
And Ari, working with Ari, what is it? What's the best part of working with her?
I think with her coming in, same as me, just coming in, jumping in feet first and just taking over some of the STEM stuff, and just her willingness to to go above and beyond.
Yeah, yeah. You guys, and again, I've had the pleasure of working very closely, at Betty Reid, and knowing some of the staff, and of course, obviously knowing the kids. And gosh, those kids are just amazing, amazing kids, and well worth the effort.
Oh yeah.
But it can be it can
Oh,
be a little
yeah.
challenging sometimes, and they can be as much as you push and push and push for them to be successful. Sometimes they do push back a little bit. How do you handle that when kids, when you're trying so hard and you just are not connecting with the child, or you can't break through? What are some of the techniques you use to kind of say, okay, this is what I'm going to do because I really want to break through to this kid? What do you do?
I think you just get to know the kid. You
Yeah.
get to know what their interests are, what they like, and also just having the approach of just one day at a time.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going on at home, and they could be bringing that to school, or what's going on at school, they could be bringing it to the program. They're just taking it one day at a time, and just be patient.
Yeah. And you seem to have all the patience of Job. I mean, you really are patient. So tell me, what were you like as a child? Were you the
my
rebellious?
goodness.
Wait a
Oh, my
minute. I
goodness.
struck a nerve. Right?
Oh man.
Yeah. What was Rogelio like
Oh,
when he was 11 and 12?
Had a lot of attitude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was quiet, but I wouldn't use my words. I would use my fists when I was younger, and that's not a good thing. That's only going to get you in more trouble. It's, instead of just talking it out and and solving the problem there, which is with words.
Now, what was your moment that you realized that using your fists and being physical was not the answer? What age range were you around?
About maybe
Last year?
No,
No, I'm kidding.
last week. No.
Yeah, last week. Right. No, I'm kidding. Now, when was your moment that you can look back and say, yeah, when I turned about so and so age, I started to
I'm gonna say 18.
really?
The,
Okay.
the reason being is because a mentor came into my life, and he really, just showed me a different way of life. I was raised in a rough area where just it was just a rough area where I just had to learn how to fight to really like be around the neighborhood and stuff. But I think with him, he just showed me another way and just would meet with me and a group of guys, and we would just read leadership books. And through all that, just him leading by example really taught me a different way of life.
And so you, of all people, understand the need for mentorship.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, absolutely. What happens when you hear people kind of writing off certain neighborhoods or children who are of lower income families or children who are in an area that other people might judge as sketchy or oh, I don't want to go to that neighborhood. How does that make you feel at the age you are now, in the position you're in? Does it make you angry, or do you feel like, look, I'm going to show you a better way? How do you feel about that?
It makes me a little upset because there's always good in those neighborhoods, no matter what they say about them is there's always good that comes out of those neighborhoods. We got to think about the positives. There's young kids that need mentors in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, they do. They definitely need mentors
Positive role models.
and positive role models. So when people kind of write that off or say, oh, well, they don't really need that. They're all bad over there. I don't want to go over there. Does that make you feel even more valuable in that neighborhood? Because you're willing to go there and you're willing to get out there with those kids. I mean, I hope that makes you understand how valuable you truly are. Yeah. So what do you do with your team that you can say you absolutely do to show these kids that they have a safe space and they have a mentor here? What do you do? What can you say to yourself? This is what we do to make sure those children are safe and they have a place to seek a mentor. What do you do?
I think we just teach them, our values. What are our values there? Our values are just, we want to create a culture of respect in the building, a culture of inclusion. We want to create somewhere fun where they can come and they can, we can develop, their potential.
Yeah. And when you say developing their potential, how do you do that?
It's finding their interest. Finding what they like and what they're good at, and one thing that I live by is try it on. Try it on means if you never tried something, just try it on because you might really like it. You might be really good at it. So just giving the kids opportunities for them to try it on. Some kid might find his passion through that.
Yeah. I think that of all the things you've said, and I mean you've said immensely important things. I think that really resonates with me. Try it on. That's a really good thing. It's even a good thing to end with. I love that. So, Rogelio, we thank you for coming in and talking to us today, and I guess we're going to leave it with that. Let's try it on. Bye.